If you've been farming, you know it's a very hard and tedious task to maintain such a vast and wide field. If you haven't, there are many things that you have to do. Obviously, you need a field for which to grow. Then you need to purify the field of all the weeds, the trash, the debris, and to make good soil. And then you need to plant the seeds in the field for them to grow. Now, there's lots more to do in farming than just that, but you get the basic idea. Now, spiritually, we have this field. As it was read in Matthew 13, 24 to 30, we have a field that is like the kingdom of heaven. Who owns this field? Well, obviously Christ owns this field. The one who sows the good seed owns the field. It is his. Christ owns the field in it, or Christ owns the field, it is his. The field is the world in Matthew 13 and 38. Also, Christ lays claim to everything in Matthew chapter 28 and verse 18. It reads, "And Jesus came and spake unto them, saying, All power is given unto me in heaven and in earth." Christ owns the field and everything in it. Now, in this field, we have the weeds. We have the enemy. Who is the enemy? Who are the tares of the field? Christ has an enemy, and you can't understand the world without knowing your enemy and his works. In Matthew 13 and 39, we'll find out who the enemy is. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. The enemy is the devil. He sows tares in the field among the good seeds. Christ knew his enemy. Christ knows who his enemy is. And he was tempted by the devil in the wilderness, although being tempted by something with such lesser, I guess you can say, power that the devil is trying to give him, which Christ already owns everything. The devil can't give him any more than what he already has. Christ came into this world to destroy the devil and his works. In 1 John chapter 3 and verse 8. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Now we have the seeds in the field. We have the good seed. In this field, we as Christians are the seeds, the good seeds. The tares are obviously the weeds, the non-repentant. The devil can sow his tares, sow his weeds all over the field, but he has no interest in the world all that much. The world pretty much takes care of themselves. All you have to do with weeds is make sure they're sitting there and they're going to grow. There's not much preventive maintenance for that. The devil will deliberately bring destruction to the field that belongs to Christ, where all the good seed is growing. He wants to choke up the good seeds to make more weeds of his own. But why do the bad seeds still grow with the good weeds? When you tear up all the weeds, you still have the weeds left over, even though you've gotten rid of them all. Evil will always grow alongside good. History has shown us this brilliantly. We have our First World War and the trenches that were appalling, which many men lost their lives. People lost their lives in this war, saying that it will be the war to end all wars. And within 20 years, we had our Second World War. But then we have the establishment of United Nations. That meant everything was going to be okay. Then we have the Cold War, the Cuban Missile Crisis, the world on the edge of annihilation. And near the end, the Berlin Wall comes down. Hope and peace shine once more. And now in the 20th century, we have Iraq, 9/11, ISIS, the war on terror. Evil, no matter how many times it is conquered, it comes back in a different form, more deadlier than the last. As Christians, we grow alongside these weeds. Sometimes we grow strong, others turn into the weeds themselves. Now, when it comes to the harvest, the field, all will be harvested together. The good also with the bad. Just like in the parable, all the weed will be gathered together and burned, and the good seed in the barn. Following the word and obeying the gospel is what good seed is. And those who don't repent and don't obey, they're just going to turn into bad seeds and wither away. So will you be a good seed or will you be a bad seed? If you wish to be a good seed, as we sing the invitation hymn, if you want to obey the gospel, come forward as you stand and sing the invitation hymn.